Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I have such a good episode for you guys today. And okay, I just want to say that if you are listening to this from Substack and you're also reading my Substack, this is an article that I already wrote because how I do my podcast episodes is I always write them out beforehand. I have like a script. Like I spend like an hour or two writing and then I record it through everything that I wrote. So I'm like, I want to use my writing in the Substack articles and then also obviously record it into a podcast, but my podcast is connected to my Substack. So if you're like, what the heck, I've already heard this or read this, that is why. So there's going to be, doubles of things, but, if you prefer reading, then you can read. If you prefer listening, then you can listen. I'm actually such like a reader first. I prefer to read over to listen, but now you have every single option. So I'm really trying to focus on growing my Substack and writing more and podcasting more. So I'm really excited because I'm just done with Instagram. I'm not done, but I'm kind of over it. Okay, that is neither here nor there. So today I wanted to chat to you guys about the tiny 2-letter word that will melt years of resistance and why I think it's going to change everything for your manifestations. And this is something that you've probably heard before. It's nothing crazy or exciting. However, when you actually use it, it has the potential to change your entire life. So you guys know that after I had Jaden, I felt a little like I lost a little bit of my sparkle, my like magical miracle mindset where I just believed truly anything. Like I still know anything is possible, but like I just, as soon as I had Jaden, I felt this like additional responsibility weighing on my shoulders, right? And everything felt like a little bit harder to get behind, right? Because everything felt a lot more serious than it did before children. And I've been really, really just deeply desiring to get back into that miracle and magical energy, which by the way, that is what we are recoding. You know what? Now that I'm putting 2 and 2 together, I'm like, oh my God, no wonder I had this breakthrough, because inside the Manifestation Club this month, we're doing Miracle May. And I created a recode for really getting your energy behind miracles, opening yourself up to miracles, opening yourself up to things changing quickly and easily. So I did that recode on May 1st, and I've been listening to my Rise and Rest every single day, and I've been feeling so open and ready for miracles. And then boom, wouldn't you know it, the perfect little hack is I'm reminded of to continuously tap into this energy. So I love that. I love when you realize like your subconscious mind is changing and you're like, wow, yes, I can see how this is working. So I have been really wanting to like be back in that magical energy. So I found this little mind trick. I didn't find it. It just came to me, and I'm sure I've talked about this before, but not quite, when it like connects with you in a new way where you're like, I haven't really thought about it that before. So this little trick is so unbelievably simple, and yet it bypasses all of the resistance of the conscious mind. And it's like, the conscious mind, you're trying to talk about, where you're headed, and your mind is like, but, you're not there yet, but this, but that. So this hack you can apply to any kind of manifestation or mood or feeling or identity that you wish to take on. And all you need is one very tiny, very insignificant word. And the word is if. That's it. The word is if. And I'm going to talk about exactly how to apply this in a way that will allow things to really start moving for you inside this episode. So you might think that this word is like a little backwards. Like, doesn't if imply doubt, uncertainty, and that something may or may not happen? Yes, it does. However, it also bypasses all the resistance the conscious mind has when you use it properly. So I'm going to talk about 3 different ways I recommend adding the word if to your manifestation practice to start seeing major movement in your life and your manifestations. So number 1, this one, such a game changer. If I knew this was a done deal, if I knew I was going to be in my dream body in 6 months, or have the business of my dreams, or make X amount of money, how would I then feel, think, act, respond? If I knew I was going to meet my person in the next month, whatever. Because here's the irony of manifestation. You obviously want to be able to get into the energy of knowing it's done. That conviction and certainty is what really will change things for you. But what if you just can't get there? Because if you have been, working towards a specific manifestation for a while and experienced a lot of ups and downs, you will likely be finding it increasingly difficult to just find that certainty and trust and knowing that it's a done deal, because you've probably tried 100 times before and you're like, well, it hasn't been a done deal up till now. And you try to be like, it's done, but all you're actually thinking about is all the times before that you've said that and that it hasn't happened yet. So this is where the magic of the word if comes in, because if allows you to simply play in a reality without feeling all this extra pressure. If allows you to try on a new identity just for fun. If allows you to practice a new feeling in your body without bringing up all the times before that it didn't work. If is like a magical portal to feeling the feelings without bringing up the old story, okay? So that is the first use. If I knew this was a done deal, how would I then proceed, okay? The second way that we can use this word, if I was X type of person, how would I then, feel, respond, behave in this situation? So obviously manifesting your reality requires adopting a new identity. However, affirming that you're wealthy, rich, abundant when reality is showing you a zero bank balance requires a level of delusion that most people cannot access on a regular day, right? It really depends. Some people can, some people can't. It really depends on energetically where you are. And sometimes I can totally go full on Delulu, and sometimes there's too much resistance there, right? And I am statements are incredibly powerful and in fact essential. Like you must create new I am identities in order to really have something long term. But if you haven't been that person before, if you don't believe you're that person yet, if you don't have any evidence or experience being that person, jumping from who you've been to like, I am a millionaire is usually hurting more than it's helping. However, if you start trying on new identities through this playful energy of what if, you can embody it without your brain shouting at you, no, you aren't, you're not that person yet, right? So, if I was someone who was great with money, how would I handle it? If I loved managing my resources, how would I proceed through paying bills? If I was someone who always had tons of overflowing money for my entire life, what would I believe to be true about money? If I was someone who loved investing and found it fun, how would I manage my money? So you can begin to see how applying this to everything can really start melting away all your resistance and just allow you to play in new realities without all the pressure. And then lastly, the last use for this is to use it to try on a new emotion and feeling in your body. So if I felt X emotion, then what? How would that feel in my body? Literally, if I felt this, how would I feel? If I was so happy and giddy about life, how would that feel? If I was so excited for the day ahead, how would I approach this morning? If I was so energized and excited about working out, how would I approach this workout? If I believed the entire universe was conspiring in my favor to make all of my dreams come true, how would I move through this day? If I knew I was going to achieve everything I ever wanted in the next 6 to 12 months and experience insane quantum leaps, how would I move through this day, right? You can apply this to literally any mood, feeling, reality you want to catch and play in. It's so funny. Every time I say the word right, I'm like reminded because last week at Toastmasters that we have like a grammarian role, and the grammarian was like, don't use the word right. I hate when you use that word at the end of a sentence. And now every time I use it, I can't help thinking about that. I'm like, I need to stop saying right. So today I challenge you to play in the what if. Let yourself catch the feelings. Let yourself play in a new reality without pressure. Let yourself try on a new identity just for the fun of it. Let yourself feel the feelings of and let it carry you through your day. Let it open your mind to all of your manifestations coming true. Challenge yourself to come up with even better and more creative if scenarios that light you up. And I want to leave you with a few ideas to play with, okay? And different areas of your life that you can practice it in. So for your body, for parenting, for your business, for your relationships, here's a few different ideas. So using it towards your body. If I loved my body no matter what, how would I treat it right now? If I loved cooking and making nourishing foods, what would I feed myself today? If my body was getting stronger and leaner every single week, how would I approach this workout? If I knew my body was changing rapidly, how would I view this one bad photo? The answer is delete it. If I was the woman who feels gorgeous in every photo, how would I pose in this one? If I trusted my body completely, how would I approach the scale? You'd throw it out. If I was someone who genuinely loves moving her body, how would I show up for this workout? Okay, so lots of different examples, but you can apply this any way you want. If I loved eating like clean and healthy and nourishing meals, what would I make myself for lunch, right? You can use it in parenting. I really love these examples. If I was the mom, my kid is going to remember as wildly fun, How would I do bedtime tonight? This literally gave me so many ideas. Like, I've always wanted to do this like glow stick bath thing, and I'm like, oh, why don't I do that? That would be so fun. Or like get water balloons, or like just do something out of the norm, right? If I was the most regulated, present version of myself, how would I respond to this meltdown? If I knew today was a memory that they will carry forever, what would I do differently? If I was the mom I always pictured being, what would I do with him today? If I knew my child was going to grow up grounded, confident, and kind, how would I view them today? Like, really changing the energy in which you're viewing your children is so important. I could do an entire podcast episode on that because they are responding to your perception of them. And if you want your children to behave differently, you need to change the way that you're seeing them first, because they cannot show up differently than how you are perceiving them. That's a whole episode in itself. Okay, so using it in your business. If I knew this post or podcast was going to land with exactly the right people, how would I write it? If I sold out every single launch, how would I record this reel? If I had hundreds of thousands of people watching me, how would I show up on my stories? If my business was already at the level I'm dreaming of, how would I show up for today's content? If I trusted that my next idea was the idea, how would I open my laptop and approach my day? If clients were already lining up, how would I be responding to these DMs? If there were hundreds of thousands of eyes on me, how would I approach my marketing? If I knew I was like loved and adored and supported, like how would I show up on social media? If I easily and effortlessly had people finding and buying from me every single day, how would I proceed? It's just playing in the energy. Okay, last example, using it in your relationships. If I was the most loved and adored woman in the world, how would I approach this date? If I was madly in love with my husband, how would I handle this conflict? If I was someone who feels deeply connected, how would I sit at this dinner table? If I trusted this person was for me, would I be reading into the silence or relaxing into it? If I was a magnet for the right people, how would I walk into this party tonight? This was actually something I really practiced. I went to a really fun networking event last week, and you guys may not know this, but I'm actually an introvert, okay? Like, I'm extroverted on the podcast. I'm extroverted on social media. I have moments of extroversion, but like my natural state is like, I need to be alone to recharge. And I'm like, actually a little bit like, like I have to challenge myself to do these things. It's not easy for me to do these things, to put myself out of my comfort zone, but I'm doing it because I want to show Jaden that he can do it. So anyway, I went to this networking event and I just walked into it like, if like all of these people were like my lifelong friends, how would I talk to them? If I knew that I was going to be received and meet so many new people and make so many amazing connections, how would I like show up to this party? If I could feel totally comfortable and at ease talking to all these new people, like how would I, follow through on this? And it really helped me change, especially the like, if I was walking into a room of all my friends, right? How would I then show up? It's a very different energy, very like, it made me show up really differently in a great way. If I knew my marriage was on its way to the best season yet, or my relationship or whatever, how would I show up today? Okay, there you have it. That is your secret little 2-letter word that will allow you to bypass resistance and play in the reality, the feeling or identity of your choosing. And you can use this all day to naturally become the person you've always wanted to be. Like, this is the thing. It's like a portal, right? So that is what I wanted to chat about today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I love you guys. If you want more magic and miracles, make sure you dive into the Manifestation Club this month, because these recodes are so powerful. Like, literally, I will transform your brain in 30 minutes, and then you just listen to the rise and rest tracks each day. You can listen to the rise tracks on the go, the rest tracks before bed. It's so easy. It is like the cheat code to manifesting anything you want in your life and changing your brain and your identity and your energy. And I'm just literally so obsessed with it. So if you haven't tried a recode yet, the miracle one is really powerful because it's a little bit more general, so it can really just open up your energy. Oh my gosh, a little hummingbird. That is so cute. Just landed right on the tree outside my window. That is so cool. What does that mean? I'm going to have to look up the significance of that because I love it. Anyway, I love you guys. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode.